Lost Boys, yes. Van Helsing, yes. Blade, yes. Dracula 2000, yes. Underworld, yes. Till Dusk to Dawn, yes. Twilight, suck my motherfucking dick. Yeah, this is Rainman, and this is gonna be my little rant about the Twilight movies. And um, I'm not talking about the book. The book was pretty good, but then whenever I watched the movie, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck the book. Fuck Twilight. Period. Now let's talk about the vampires inside Twilight. It's a shame calling them vampires because they're not vampires. All right. Vampires do not sparkle in sunlight. All right. They fucking burn, and if they're cut open and the sun actually touches them, they're gonna explode. Um, Vampires cannot be near a human being. If they do, they cannot help themselves but to drink their blood. To kill them and drink their blood. You cannot stand next to a human and not resist to drink their blood. You cannot do that. That's mostly impossible for a vampire. But no, the ones inside Twilight, they were herbivore queerbaits. Yes, herbivore queerbaits. They did not eat anything but herb. That's pretty fucking stupid. Um, and yeah, I mean, Twilight's just plain fucking stupid. They lowered the standards of vampires real bad. Um, I mean, here's the story. You have this girl Bella. She moves inside her town. She falls in love with this so-called vampire. She started killing these three bad vampires and this whole vampire clan. And then the next movie they're supposed to kill the werewolves as well. Well, and then she falls in love with this vampire and this werewolf dude. Now she cannot choose who to be with, either Edward or Jacob. What's so hard to choose? I mean, you're gonna choose the dude that came out from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, or you're gonna choose Shark Boy. You either want your offspring to become a sparkling little queerbait, or you want your offspring to come out as a hairy motherfucker. If I was her, I wouldn't choose any, because my reputation could not stand it, and the humiliation, you know. But yes, wouldn't choose any. Um, and yeah, if I had to choose a vampire, I would choose it that it wouldn't spark the baby wouldn't sparkle inside the sunlight. That it would actually eat, that actually drink human blood, and that turned out to be a complete badass. Now let's do a little comparison. All right, Lost Boys, 1, 2, and 3, and the Twilight vampires. The Twilight, what was the difference? The Twilight vampires, they were fucking boring. Alright, they were fucking boring. The Lost Boys vampires, they took life to the edge. They did stuff that would actually kill them. They didn't give a fuck about anything. They wanted to have fun because you want to know why? Let me quote their motto. You will never grow old. You will never die, and you'll never know fear again. But you must feast on the human blood. Does that not make you not want to watch the movie? I mean, that shit was fucking awesome. I mean, just how they put it, it was fucking awesome. And the first movie was made in the '80s, and Twilight cannot even beat them. They cannot even compare to them. But then these Twilight vampires, they're all boring as fuck, boring as fuck, and they're emotionally queerbaits. And now let's bring up the now vampires are supposed to bring badass. Who is a badass vampire that we know? A great example would be Blade. Yes, Blade. Wesley fucking Snipes. He is a vampire and a vampire hunter at the same time. And just when he pulls out his sword, shit's gonna go down. And um, the vampires from Twilight, they're not even badass at all. They're fucking scaredy cats. Scaredy cats. Probably the bad vampires from part one. The black dreadlock dude, the girl, and the dude that came out from Never Back Down. Probably they were the vampires that are pretty awesome, but they kind of look like the Black Eyed Peas. Not gonna lie. And they're probably awesome, but sad they died. So sad. But yeah, um, Blade was a badass vampire. Okay, Blade was fucking badass. And he could definitely kill them bitches. Even the Frog Brothers. The Frog Brothers are what you call the Lost Boys main vampire hunters, you know, and it was pretty awesome, how Alan Frog, he got turned to a vampire, yet he wanted to kill just to be normal again, just to get rid of that vampire curse, and that was pretty fucking awesome, from part 3, awesome as fuck. Part 1, it's a classic. Part 2, it's kind of like a failure. Part 3, it was a redemption, you know. I'm not gonna see part 4 if it ever comes out because I cannot see the Frog Brothers fighting werewolves. I can only see them fighting vampires. But yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you why Twilight is stupid. All right, because ever since that movie Twilight came out, everyone's claiming they're a vampire, hybrid vampire, Genesis vampire, e, e, there's a I don't know what that other word for vampire, but there's different types of vampires. I'm like, what? When the fuck was there different types of vampires? I thought the vampire was a vampire, period. You know? I don't care what kind of vampire it is, it's a fucking vampire. You know? Now you have these emo girls becoming vampires, emo boys pretending they're vampires. More like, oh yeah, I'm a vampire. I'm a werewolf too. I'm a werewolf. I'm a vampire. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not a vampire. Because if you were, I get like something really sharp and I stab inside you. Because I ain't gonna let you drink my blood. And if you're actually a werewolf, let me stick real silver inside you. Let me stab you with some real silver shit. And let's see if you actually survive it, alright? And yeah, um, what else I was gonna say? Oh yeah, they're claiming that, whatchamacallit, Twilight is a saga series. It's not a saga. There's only one saga, and it's Star Wars. Thank you from the dude that came out from Clerks 2 that said that. Yes, that was a Clerks 2 reference. The only saga there is Star Wars. And one thing that was stupid about Twilight was the whole Burger King episode where the Burger King, where the commercial, they had the little peel-offs. Edward, Jacob, if you get one right, you can win a prize, even $100,000. And to help choose them, um, they had real Team Edward and Team Jacob fans. And then one thing that was really stupid is when the girl was like this to the old guy, would you want your daughter to date a werewolf? Motherfucker, I wouldn't want my daughter to date a goddamn vampire, you know? I wouldn't want her to date a vampire nor a fucking werewolf. I want her to date someone that will actually treat her right and is a human being. And you know what? And who is willing to sacrifice. That's what I want. I don't give a shit if they're a vampire fucking werewolf. Actually I do care because I don't want them to drink my motherfucking blood. I don't want them to kill fucking people. I don't want them to kill my motherfucking daughter, you know? But and yeah, Twilight was just a complete failure. They lowered the standards of vampires. Not everyone's thinking that they're vampires when you know who the real fucking vampires are. And this bitch was all like, "Where can you find a movie that has vampires fighting werewolves?" Have you tried seeing Underworld? Have you tried seeing Van Helsing? Van Helsing is the shit. So is Underworld. You have to look just to find that type of action. And then this other bitch was like, I just don't understand those other vampires movies. I mean, they had Dracula and they try to kill him like they did to the other vampires, but then he wouldn't die. Dracula is always hard to kill. Stab him all you want, he's not gonna die. There's a specific way of killing Dracula. Either you have to do a ritual, ceremonial, or another mythical creature has to kill him. But the way that the blade, inside Blade, that Dracula, how he died was just like a pure antivirus to clean out the viruses in all vampires. That kind of made sense. It kind of didn't, but then it kind of did. If you really listen to it. And yeah, this is my take on vampires. Fuck Twilight. Twilight shouldn't be calling themselves vampires. Want to know what a real vampire is? Check out the movies, or better yet, if you know a vampire movie, list them all down. And yeah, thank you, please. Toodles.